There we go. Wow, that took almost 20 seconds for YouTube to connect there. Let me just get my chat set up really quick. I have to make this short because I'm still not well, everybody. Let me get to the computer chat. Just give me a moment. Hey, Jane. Okay. Hey, Donna McCoy, my newest member. Oh my gosh. Yeah, my butt has been kicked, my rear end. I have been in the worst pain. Hey, Kathy. Yeah, I'm still not feeling well, everybody, but I have to go to a cardiology appointment tomorrow that I can't miss because it's one of those post-op appointments from my January surgery where they're going to probably adjust meds. But while I'm there, I'm going to ask him who can get me in for, like, who do I call or where do I go to get an emergency ultrasound? I want to avoid the emergency room at all costs because even with sometimes financial assistance from the hospital, it doesn't cover the doctors that are at the hospital. So, everything that I've made on YouTube since March 25th will go right down the drain if I have to walk into the emergency room. And I just mentally can't deal with that. I'm also having a hard time thinking that this situation could result in a third, surgery. And it wouldn't be major, but it's major enough where I'd have to be in a hospital and, undergo anesthesia and have somebody drive me. And then I wouldn't have anybody to take care of me at home for the weeks of recovery. And so I have a lot on my plate right now. But there's just a lot of news that I've been following today regarding Nancy Guthrie, day number 135. And I don't think any of this news is significant, but I'll give it a few more minutes to let people come in. Maybe most people can see it on the playback. I know, I have been, Pauline. In fact, my neighbor was over last night and we were talking about it, and she was trying to convince me that I don't need surgery, but I do rely a lot on Dr. Google, and this is a problem that usually requires surgery. Hey, 28 people in the room. Oh, thank you, C. Shelley. I'm April Davis, PI. I'm a licensed California private investigator, and I've been following this Nancy Guthrie case literally since the night of February the 1st. I've been reporting on it on my YouTube channel since February the 2nd. I have, gosh, at least 120 plus videos on this. If you guys are new here, go check out my playlist. Make sure you're subscribed. I do have some medical things to handle this summer, so I probably won't be able to go every day. Yesterday, I was in so much pain. I thought I was going to have to go to the emergency room, so I didn't come on. And then today, I was going to go again, and then I'm like, you know what? I can't miss that cardiology appointment because it's just too hard to get in with that specialist. And he's the one that's been keeping me alive since November 2023. So I've got to go to that appointment and then hopefully figure out what my next step's going to be to figure out why I just woke up with this sudden awful pain. And of course, that'll raise the red flags for all the doctors because of my being a cancer survivor. If you haven't seen about that or heard me talk about that, you can always go to the links, see the old GoFundMe, and you can just read all the updates if you want to know what's happened over the last 7 years of my life. But I'm here today to talk about Nancy Guthrie. She's still missing. God bless her. Day number 135. There's this big article that came out today by Jennifer Hoffendorfer, and I'm not a big fan of hers. It's not that I dislike her, but I disagree with a lot of her ideas about this case. Kathy Mowry, I was watching the Bryan Inn Mexican border, had no idea. Yeah, I have already seen that. If you go inside, there is a pharmacy, said they knew of the Nancy Guthrie case and you could get heart medicine needed. Oh, yeah, that's easy to get medicine in Mexico. Yeah, I saw the prior interviews that he did in Mexico where he actually went across the border without a passport, which was crazy. Pain for over 20 years. Doctors just ignore or give pills. Yeah, that's about it. But This is an old metal detecting injury that I had, and all of a sudden, it's just I woke up and I couldn't turn. I'm okay right now because I'm sitting. If I'm sitting or laying down, it's okay. But if I turn left, turn right, stand up, sit down, walk, sneeze, cough, I'm just like in excruciating pain. And I'm sure it's affecting my blood pressure, my heart rate, just my overall general of, feeling like crud every day. So, I'll have to put on my big girl panties and, for the third time this year, walk in and, I'll have all you guys pray that I survive the next round of anesthesia if that's what it takes. You guys can lift me up. Just seeing my friend Joyce last night, that lifted me up so much to know that there's people in my corner, and so many people here have been sending me messages on my community tab, which is great. But let me talk about this article because uh, it's very clickbaity. It makes it sound like they've already solved what happened, and that's not true at all. It's just one of the many rabbit holes to go down in this case, but I still say, the Savannah Guthrie factor is involved in this case or somebody close to her. Hey, Yona Mitchell, welcome in. It's just very brief, but let me read it to you. It says a former FBI agent just shed light on a huge breakthrough. People, there is no huge breakthrough in the Nancy Guthrie case, as Today co anchor Savannah Guthrie's mother remains missing. On Saturday, June 13th, retired FBI agent Jennifer Coffendorfer took to X to share major news from a cybersecurity company more than 4 months after the 84-year-old was abducted in Tucson. It's the biggest public break in Nancy's case. I don't believe this. As Certic, that's a cybersecurity firm, arguably the leading crypto security company in the world, has designed or designated Nancy's abduction as a wrench attack by proxy. And that's according to Jennifer Coffendorfer. Uh, that's a possibility, but that hasn't been proven. She included a screenshot from Certic, which read, the 84-year-old mother of journalist Savannah Guthrie was kidnapped as part of a $6 million Bitcoin ransom demand, illustrating the documented trend of proxy target selection already identified in our 2025 report. We have no idea if that's why this happened. We don't even know that the ransom notes are real. Hey, thank you, Isaiah Rodriguez. Welcome in. He says, amazing. Thank you for all you do. Oh, thank you for the gold coin. You're the first one of the day. I appreciate that so much. Let me tell you, all these are going to add up if I end up having to have another surgery because there's always things that the insurance doesn't cover. I'm almost medically bankrupt. So you guys keep watching. Additionally, the former FBI agent speculated, does Certic have knowledge as to if Savannah has a Bitcoin account? That has nothing to do with this, whether Savannah has any Bitcoin. You can't just make this declaration and say, hey, this security company, this Certic, says, hey, this is why this happened. 1 + 1 = 2. No, we don't know. Um, Coffendorfer, who, like I said, she says a lot of things that I think are inaccurate. This is a huge breakthrough. Times have changed, and how these networks operate is new to law enforcement. Unless law enforcement knows who took Nancy, then a wrench by proxy is on the table. Yeah, it's on the table. But these clickbaity headlines that like, oh, now we know, this is a big breakthrough in the case because now we know why this happened. That's wrong. It says Savannah's mom was last seen at her Catalina Foothills home on January 31st. That's true. After Nancy's family reported her missing on February 1st, the Pima County Sheriff's Department and the FBI have poured through tips and started processing DNA evidence. No suspect has been named as of writing, despite previous ransom letters demanding Bitcoin and Savannah offering a $1 million reward. Yeah, same old, same old. I'm hanging in there, Colleen. I'm in a lot of physical pain right now as we speak. Um, if you pay $10 a month, they can't touch you. You mean to this cybersecurity firm, Certic? Let me know what you mean by that. There's a possibility. Everything's possible. Aliens coming down from outer space and kidnapping her. That's possible too, but I doubt it. Uh, I just think I think she's too clickbaity. I'm just gonna say it. And I'm not that way. And that's why I'm never gonna have like, a half a million followers because I am a detective of 42 years. Just the facts, ma'am. Just the facts. Medical bills you are keeping to pay it. I must have missed something. Colleen, oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. April, prayers for you. Thank you. Like I said, I see the cardiologist tomorrow, and I'm going to discuss this with him. But I only get a few minutes, and I probably won't be on the air tomorrow because even though you have to arrive 15 minutes early for the appointment, the doctor's usually 3 hours late, and it's only 3 miles from my house. But it's always a nightmare with this doctor, and there's no other doctor that's a substitute. It's only him. He's the only electrophysiologist, cardiologist. I know that's a mouthful that I can talk to, and he's got to listen. And because, my heart's still not beating right. And, they have to hook me up to EKG and decide, what pills they're going to put me on or take me off of. It's always a crap show, people. I am so beyond sick of all of this. Now I understand when old people, when they pass, and their friends and their family go, "Oh, rest in peace." It's almost like a relief. Now, I'm not headed there yet mentally, but I'm so beyond tired of. I mean, I have oncology, cardiology, the kidney stone that they said was gone is kind of still there, and more X-rays, more scans. I've already had enough radiation to light up New York City. Like I'm just so tired of being tired every day. And I know a lot of you that follow me, I get an older audience. And so there's a lot of people here that are watching me that are going through rough times as well. So no venting, no complaining. Let's just stick to the subject here. Nancy Guthrie. Um, Colleen, good idea. I have tons of medical bills and I just make a payment every month so they can't turn me over to collections. Exactly. Um, what? Oh, Jesus. Hold on. Okay, time out. Now there's another YouTuber, and I don't really watch him, but I've heard of him, Mark the Shark. He's one of the many people that was boots on the ground for some time. Apparently, he's got a story today that bright lights were seen at Nancy's house at 4 a.m. this morning. I haven't seen the video yet. I got so many new subscribers now and people sending me email tips like, see this video, go follow this person, go subscribe to this channel. And I really, me keeping myself alive and keeping my bunny and my cat happy is a full-time job. Then I have this on top of it, which I enjoy, but this case has taken a lot of my time. So I will watch clips here and there. I do watch a lot of videos in the middle of the night while I'm in bed, but I've been in so much pain since Friday that when I crawl into bed at night now, I'm just going to sleep uh, because my body's just so exhausted from whatever this is. And, you know, um, I just decided, you know what, I'm going to come on today and I'm going to talk to you guys. And then I won't have to think about it till I go see the cardiologist tomorrow. I can say, hey, I know you're only a cardiologist, but I need an emergency scan. And how do I get it? Where do I go so that I don't have to pay another emergency room bill? Hopefully, I'm not going to be hospitalized over this, but who knows? Who knows what they're going to find? But it hurts bad. Um, Let's see. I need a cop to look at the Anne Heche video. It's the weirdest video I've ever seen. Yeah, that was pretty bizarro, Bill or Billy. Uh, C. Shelley. Lauren drove by there at 4 a.m. this morning. She sent it to JLR. Yeah, I haven't seen that. Oh, here comes our daily problematic person. Okay, see you, Reese. Oh, yeah, I need to watch this video about bright lights. Supposedly nobody's living in that house. Now, it was described as bright lights. Nothing about or nothing similar to the lights that were seen during the recreation of the crime. that was recently done by JLR, and I think he was out there. And it wasn't Alex. I think it might have been Ted. I don't watch them very often, but that really kind of made the hair on the back of my neck stand up when that happened. But this is described as bright lights, and then of course they have a thumbnail with her house with that front window to the right of the front door with the big bright lamp on. But, that's just an AI thumbnail. So let's figure out what this meant. Remember, they don't want the YouTubers in the neighborhood anymore. So we don't know if things at the house may have changed as far as somebody living there or being a caretaker. Um, see Shelley, she's going to drive back by supposedly to determine if the lights are on a timer. Good idea. Before there weren't, but we'll see, especially 4 a.m. I mean, how many people are out there at 4 a.m.? Yeah, this is nothing like the lights that came on that were, moving around like orbs. This is supposedly a bright light, like somebody turned on the lights. So I'll have to watch, that part of the video if I can. And then I'll lose a day tomorrow on all of this because there's a really bad internet connection in that doctor's office. Now I can go to they have free Wi-Fi, but I got to be really careful if I hook my phone up to that because then I could get, my phone corrupted or hacked or I may be able to connect to the Providence free Wi-Fi. We will see. And then at least I can catch up on some of the videos or the news stories while I'm sitting there for 3 to 4 hours waiting for the doctor. Let's see. Yeah, they were pretty bright from what I'm hearing, C. Shelley. Billy Elliot. Jay, it was very bad. A fireman putting her in a cadaver bag, but she's alive. Yeah, let's not go into that today, Billy. That's very traumatic. Um, yeah, I agree. It was just that was I remember the day that happened. And one of my besties, her friend lived right down the street from where that happened, and that bestie has since passed away right after. And so I try not to think about that because it brings back other bad memories for me. Um, Now, also, I did watch the latest Brian Enton video just before it came on the air about the possibility. Remember, everything's on the table here that she could have been taken into Mexico through a nearby Indian reservation that's near Tucson, and those reservations are very large, and they're hundreds of square miles, big, maybe bigger than that. And that's a possibility, but I don't see it. Oh, let's see. Got to put somebody in a timeout. Sorry, everybody. And thank you to the 31 people who are here. Oh, thank you. It's just my Rally Roots hat. And that's my Wi Fi mic. So thanks, Crystal. Welcome in. This case is going nowhere fast. Yeah, everybody's just going down these rabbit holes now. And let's everybody time out. Let's go in reverse. Let's put the car back in the reverse, put the train back on the track, and stick to what we should be sticking to. Number one, Savannah factor, because she's a famous person, and as a Hollywood PI, anybody related to her will have a target, a giant target, on their back, especially with the type of money that Savannah probably has in her bank account. And number two, 75 to 92% of cases all occur, like murders and kidnappings occur by somebody close to you. Thank you for the flow state P679. Thank you so much. I haven't seen one of those lately. Those are great. They pop up on my screen really big. Uh, yeah, I agree with you though, Kathy. They're still waiting for that rootless hair to try to get a DNA hit, and that's I've said it before and I'll say it again. I don't want this whole case to hedge on a rootless hair sample, especially when the first lab in Florida, which is supposedly a respectable lab used by Pima County sheriffs, they couldn't get anything from that. P679, grandson and I are watching eating tacos. I would love some tacos. I would love to be able to cook something right now, but I just to get out of this chair, I'm going to be like, ah, I can't bend down. I've had to clean litter pans it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, because I clean them every day for the rabbit and the cat, and I'm just like, in bed if I'm almost like ready to fall asleep, and then like, oh, I got to get up and pee, and then it's just like, this is bad, bad pain, and I don't know how this injury could have just flared up when I haven't done anything strenuous. I haven't lifted anything. I haven't done anything athletic. I haven't, twisted, turned, pulled, grabbed, squatted. It just happened, and that's a little concerning. So no, P6. Sadly, I'm not feeling better. I would think lots of access to and from Mexico, U.S. Lots of land roads across that area. You know, yes, but part of it is secured. They do have Border Patrol helicopter flights with infrared technology that are constantly going up and down. If you're out in the middle of nowhere on an Indian reservation, out in the middle of the desert, and you just drive a car, it, it's gonna like create a lot of like a dust trail. Oh, thank you for the flower P6. I appreciate you guys so much. It's going to cause a big dust trail. I've worked a lot of cases out in Mojave Desert, um, Air Force Plant 42, Palmdale, Edwards Air Force Base, just north of Lancaster, next to the town of Rosamond. And when you're out there and you're not on main roads, like everybody knows, and it's not safe, like even in the daytime, because the locals are like, uh-oh, somebody's here that's not supposed to be here. They know every car, every engine sound, every tire track. It's scary. Let's see. Okay, that sounds like a homophobic remark, David, and that's not acceptable in my channel. We are inclusive to everybody here, David. I worked a 250th event at the church yesterday. Slept till 2. Lucky you. My cat would never allow that. Yeah, and sleeping hasn't really helped this injury at all. So, you know, hopefully the doctor will tell me just give it some more time. But if it turns out that that's not going to work, um, I'm headed for another surgery. And then I'm going to rely on you guys to bring me up because that's my biggest fear since I've already had 2 this year. I've had that in the back of my mind constantly, like, when is the hammer going to drop? When am I going to be seeing the inside of that hospital again? I mean, I was there in November, December, January, February, March. You know, I managed to stay out so far, April and May, and we're not even halfway through June. Well, halfway today, and it looks like there's another trip to the hospital coming for me. So I'm just like, thank God for my YouTube channel. Yeah, my back is hurting, but that's not why I need to go to the hospital. Um, it's an old metal detecting injury, and I haven't been able to metal tech in, geez, probably 10 years because of the cancer and the pre-cancer and the post-ops and the hard elements. Like I sold all my equipment except my scoop is still in my trunk. That's my one last piece of equipment, and if I get rid of my beach scoop, I know that there's no chance that I'll ever be able to do it again. So that's the story for today. Jennifer Coffendorfer, um, who I don't really agree with most of the time. All of a sudden, there's a big breaking story in this case because there's a huge clue because this security company says that, it's the Bitcoin wrench attack. We don't know that at all. Those notes don't even seem to be legit. It just seems like somebody trying to profit off of a tragedy, which is terrible. They need to find out who sent those notes, and those people need to be put away. I do want to find out more about this bright light that came on. Could simply be a light on a timer, but they don't even have the porch light, the exterior house lights on at night, which is really weird. That house is always pitch black at night. But remember, the YouTubers aren't allowed to go in there anymore. And yeah, according to Brian Enton and his talk with this retired FBI agent, yeah, there is an Indian reservation nearby. There are multiple Indian reservations. in Arizona. But there's nothing that I know of that indicates she was smuggled across the border through an Indian reservation. That's the last one. It'd be easier just to go through the port of Nogales and just walk in the door. Walk- Brian Hinton walked through the little twirly whirly thing, without a passport, and they didn't even stop him to say, "Let me see your ID, sir." He walked in, he walked out. It's like they parked on the U.S. side, no passports, walked in because he had his cameraman and his translator. So three of them just went, "Toop," and he's like, "Oh, I didn't bring my passport." Well, let's see how it goes. Like, I can't even imagine. Um, hey, Kathy Doherty. Oh, you're totally new here. Thank you for coming in, Matt. Did you find me through the juice? How did you find me? I just signed up to this Facebook page that's about the Nancy Guthrie case, and there was an article that was done yesterday. I don't remember by who. I'm sorry, but it listed the YouTube channels that you should watch if you're following the Nancy Guthrie case. And I don't know if these listings were in any particular order, but I was number 9 on their list. And past me, not ahead of me, but behind me was Nancy Grace. I'm like, what? Like, like they obviously couldn't be in order because I have 3,300 subscribers. Um, yeah, I thought you looked familiar, Matt. Let's see. I'm up to 3365. Yeah, I had a big boost a couple days ago from a lot of viewers from the Juice, but that was just a temporary boost, and now I'm still getting my 5 or 10 a day. Needs to go a lot faster than that for me to make it to 4. Can everybody share this channel? Everybody hit the thumbs up button, send the red hearts, send the smiley faces across the screen, send the thumbs up across the screen, whatever you have to do to get this out there. And let's just say that the worst happens and I am headed for another surgery. That will not stop me from doing YouTube. In fact, if I can, it might actually force me to do it more because sometimes it's not required, but sometimes I do get people that come in from, my viewers that'll be like, let me throw this at you, let me throw that at you. And there's going to be a lot of additional expenses if I go down from surgery. I'm going to need someone to go pick up, my business mail. I'm going to need someone to help me with laundry and meals, and I won't be able to stand to cook. And it's going to be very expensive if I have to go through my 3rd surgery of the year. And it could be one of two things where they're actually going to have to cut through multiple layers, or it could be laparoscopic. And that's just, I can't imagine that that's going to feel good when I wake up. I mean, it won't be the end, but at my age, every time I go under anesthesia, it's a risk. I mean, I'm not old like Joan Rivers, but she went through so many procedures, and one day that was it. Her body just went, nope, that's it. You're done. Oh, let's see. Yeah, Matthew, I thought you were here before, but see, we have multiple Matts, just like we have multiple Kathys, multiple Sues and Susans and Suzannes and Kellys and Karens. So it's like, and I am distracted, Matt, with everything that's happened to me. You know, if I had had some sort of an accident, like I did have vertigo last week, and I did a couple of times, like kind of bash into the walls almost, but it wasn't anything significant that would have caused an injury. Lisa, thank you for the flow state. That is much appreciated. Are you new here, Lisa McCall? Are you just coming in? Uh, but speaking of the Sues, I know this is a little off topic, but um, there's 3 Sues. There's Sue in Michigan, there's Sue in upstate New York, and there's Sue in Massachusetts. And Sue in upstate New York decided to order something off the Amazon wish list. And she was out of town at a graduation, I believe, I think it was Virginia somewhere. And about a week later, maybe a week, 10 days later, when she came home from her graduation, uh, there was a gift. This, it's a monoscope telescope, like a monocular. It was sitting at her front door from Amazon. And she thought, well, how did I do that? And she wrote me, and I was like, listen, you didn't need to do that. But the best option would be just to send it back to Amazon for free. You can go to any UPS store, and then you could just, reorder it through the gift store and make sure that, it's going to me rather than back to your house. But she actually went to FedEx. I've got a copy of the receipt, and this cost her over an additional 30 some dollars just to put it in a FedEx box. Thank you, Sue. I cannot wait to use this. This is something that I have needed for so long. This was one of the top things on my list. This is going to help me with YouTube. And I'm definitely going to need that help if I end up being laid up in the next few weeks, because God forbid, I have to go in, even if it's just for one day, and have a surgery. I'm going to put this together tonight, and you guys, you don't need to do this, but it's all so much appreciated. So if you're watching this on the replay, Sue, because I haven't seen you today, thank you. I can't thank you enough. Donna McCoy, you could have turned wrong in your sleep. I've done it and didn't realize it till I woke up. Well, it's really strange, Donna. Besides that, my middle finger, I don't know if you can see it here, but it's all swollen. It's swollen. It didn't hurt my hand. And this happened around the same time. I woke up where my middle finger on my left hand is bashed in, and it's turned all kinds of colors from brown to blue to yellow to purple. Um, it hurts like it's sprained, but I didn't have any type of accident. And I noticed this around the same day that I woke up, and I couldn't roll over in bed because I was just like, oh, what is that? So I don't know. It's scary to think what happened to me while I was just lying in my bed. And I was on the tie bed on the floor, so it's not like I was in the regular queen bed and I, fell out of bed or something. What does that item do? Well, I'm going to be able to attach this item to my cell phone, to my iPhone 17, and I'm going to have, like a monocular. It'd be like looking through binoculars, but through my cell phone. So it'll help with like some wildlife shots and things like that. Colleen says, I totally understand. I had 8 surgeries back to back last year. It was a nightmare. I was in and out of the hospital so many times, and I started this year out with a 5th knee revision. And I know it's not just me, and it sucks for all of us. Getting old sucks. It is bruised, and there's a big lump like right here, and I don't have any cuts or like I cut my hand and it got infected or nothing. I wash my hands like 10 times a day. Uh, that could be from my heart, but it feels bruised, and it's just the one finger, nowhere else on my body. Uh, It is a cool item, Jay, isn't it? So, yeah. Oh, Kathy Doherty says she's 70. Gosh, I'd like to get there. That's a long ways off for me. Not allowed to do anything. James Smythe, bird watchers come to my open space. I should get one and try getting camera shots. Yeah, this is going to be fantastic. It's hard to see through the green screen. I don't know why the green screen doesn't allow me to hold things up. But yeah, it says that my goal ended. I only set it for 30 minutes. And I'm just going to set the gift goal now since we hit 0 on the super chat goal. Let's see. So yeah, if anybody else has seen this video from Mark the Shark about the bright lights and you want to, type something in the chat and explain it to me just to let the audience know like what it is, and then I don't have to go see the whole video. Um Oh, well, you suck too. Goodbye. I've been on disability for 3 or 4 years, so tired of it. Yeah, me too. Because I'm a go, go, go kind of person. As a detective, I'm the one driving down the freeway at 90 miles an hour with my hair on fire, chasing somebody as a civilian. Uh, and that's just gone like a train that was going 90 miles an hour. And then it went, stop. Sorry, I shook the camera when I went on my desk. But, I have a friend that's a very close friend that's dying, or I don't know if she's dying, but she's suffering. I should say suffering is the better word, from stage 4 cancer. And she's always said to me, April, you have two speeds, fast and stop. There's no in between, fast and stop. And my speedometer has been on stop since about 2016. And they got really bad 2018, 2019, 2020, and then everything's just gone downhill from there. Uh, I'm a go-getter too, Kathy. Can't you tell? What is the time number of bright lights? It's supposed to be 4 a.m., but I haven't seen the video. Uh, Kathy Mowers is kind of like you hit a brick wall. Yeah, yeah. And I'm like, did I hit my hand on something, or did I hit just my finger and I don't remember? Like, I don't think so. Where I went, ow, that hurts. Like, and it's so weird that it happened at the same time that the old metal detecting injury. And eventually that did go away in the past, and no surgery was required. And, me and my neighbor Joyce, we were talking about that last night, like maybe just give it some time. But, you know, uh, when I have great physical pain or some other type of illness that comes on, it affects my heart. It affects my blood pressure and my pulse and, just my overall well being, because your body focuses on an injury. It's like if you break a bone and then people with broken bones often feel nauseous. Well, that's because the body's trying to compensate, and it's putting all that energy into that pain. I don't want pain. I'm a redhead. I'm super sensitive to pain. I don't do pain well. So, when your body is sending you a pain signal, it's sending you a signal for a reason. And you go, ow. And you need to know why you're saying, ow, I can't stand or sit or turn left or turn right. Just to sit down in the middle of the night and pee is like excruciating. Like, this pain is so bad. And it's not a kidney stone or a gallbladder stone or anything like that. Um, let's see. Oh, hey, cat lady. Stinged. I don't know what that means. Yeah, so I will watch this video later unless somebody wants to send me a highlight and tell me where to watch about the lights on at her house. I mean, it could mean anything. It's not like a creepy story, I don't think, like the one during the recreation of the crime by JLR and Ted. Like that was creepy because that made me think, yeah, she probably did pass away, and she didn't pass away on her own behalf or at her own hands. And you know, um, if you know anything about people that are unalived, sometimes they have a hard time crossing over. And where would she go if she were still here? She would go home. Maybe she went home. I don't know if that would be the explanation for a bright light on in the window. That sounds more like somebody turned on a light. So, but yeah, there's all these theories. It's a cyber wrench attack. She was taken across the border on an Indian reservation. They're just it's like with MH370, 12 years later. Like how many more new stories can they create about this? Now, if they get a hit on that DNA, that's going to be huge. And it's crossed my mind that maybe they already do have a hit and they already know who they're looking for, and they're obviously just not going to share that with us right now. Donna says, yes, blood pressure goes up when you're in pain. Doctors keep telling me I had heart problems when I had frostbite. They got me down for heart problems and no frostbite. I hate doctors. They don't listen. That's true. Now, my electrophysiologist, cardiologist, he's a dear man. Uh, Colleen, do you think there is more to it about wanting the streamers out of the way? I wonder if they are going to do something with that house and they don't want the streamers to see what's going on. That's crossed my mind. And somebody brought that up on my last show. Like, do you think Annie and Tommaso are going to like move in there? She would still need her medical devices even with meds. Yes, she would. Hey, Senate 6-3. Hey, Rose Margaret. Wow, all these new people coming in. That's great. It seems a bit extreme how they went about it so fast. Yes. And did anybody hear? Has there been a follow up on the Mark Kelly, Gabby Giffords? I mean, there's so many characters in the story. And I know Mark Kelly was called, the night that it happened from Savannah, but it's more than 4 months. We're already in the fifth month now. It's day 135. And now even his wife, Gabby Giffords, if you guys remember her, now she's involved in this circus. Somebody stole the flowers and some YouTuber had placed an Apple AirTag and apparently it showed up at an event with Gabby Giffords. Like, what the heck? Uh, like, I mean, this is a circus. This is a three-ring circus. Uh, I doubt it. I doubt it, but something's up. Colleen says, I wonder if A&T aren't going to move in or hiding. Yeah, where are they? Why are they hiding? Why, when this first happened and they were desperate to find Nancy, they came out of their house with, she had the hoodie over her head and her hands in front of her face. Why? I read body language as a detective. It shows deception, deceit, shame. What are you ashamed of? Why are you running from the cameras? What's up? And now they're just gone. And I think it's probably a security issue. Their lives are probably being threatened. But what about their son? Is he able to go to school? What about Tommaso? My viewers have told me, oh, he wasn't even working the entire 25-26 school year, even before this happened. Well, if he wasn't working, how are they paying their bills? And why wasn't he working? Oh, those flowers were purchased by a streamer. Dad's gone wild. He promised to bring them back home to son, and they were stolen. And they end up with Gabby Giffords? You know, what's going on? Because in that puts a whole new spin on this. That Savannah called Mark and said, hey, go remove those flowers. And I said, if that's true, then I've just lost all my faith in Savannah. Because I like Savannah. I don't know Savannah, but I've always liked her. He left today to go back to Bakersfield. Who, Dad's gone wild? Not really, Rose, but I will see the cardiologist tomorrow and I will ask him what's the next step to figure out my newest problem. And I don't want to sound like a negative Nelly. I want to be a positive Polly here, but I do not want to have, I will do anything to avoid yet another 2026 surgery. But I can't live in this kind of pain every day either. Like if it has to be done, it'll have to be done. And I will just have to try to go on here as much as I can, even if I'm in a hospital bed with a selfie stick. Um, the whole thing doesn't make sense. There's nothing about this case that makes sense, except the original two ideas: revenge, money, Savannah factor, somebody close to her. It's definitely financially motivated. There's no doubt about that. But the who, what, when, where, why, and how, that still has to be determined. C. Shelley says, Dad's gone live. Jacob, he went home yesterday and he did not locate the flowers. But supposedly they tracked to an event at a hotel where Gabby Giffords was. That's what my audience told me. Thank you, Kathy. Prayers is what got me through stage 3, grade 3 cancer. I should have already passed from that, and I'm still here. Hey, Kelly Ray. I'm almost done for today, but you can always watch the replay. Kelly, good to see you. Absolutely nothing has come of the Mexico tip. And Nanos is just like, oh, we haven't heard anything from Mexico. Even Brian Anton thought that response was strange. But he talked to that ex-FBI agent or that retired FBI agent, and he's like, well, we can't just run off after every tip that we get. But still, that's the first, possibly credible tip that's come in since this whole thing started. They have an exact location. Go check it out. But if they don't even want to look in Tucson, why the heck would they drive down to Mexico and check that out? And, law enforcement, well, FBI could go in there, but Pima County wouldn't be able to go down there, as far as I know. They can't cross jurisdictions. I can't cross jurisdictions as a PI. Oh, we got the Cathys and we got one of the Kellys. I haven't seen the Karens yet, and I haven't seen the Sues, the Susans, or the Suzannes. Crazy. This has been asked, what does Gabby Giffords have to do with this case besides the state of Arizona? That's a good question, Jay, because on my last show, people said that this Dad's Gone Wild had put some new flowers out in front of Nancy's house at the memorial spot that had an Apple AirTag, and someone stole the flowers, and they were tracked to a hotel where there was some type of event going on with Mark and Gabby Giffords, but it was tracked to Gabby Giffords, and but the flowers were never found, but the AirTag ended up there. And remember, Mark is in Savannah's back pocket. Hey, Brian. See, Shelley, he speculated that the battery was removed if the person that had them had an iPhone and alerted them they were being tracked. Of course. But that changes everything. Because I don't know why Savannah, who wants to find her mother more than anything, like, why would she have a problem with the beautiful yellow roses out there? And it's a very typical design, Kathy, that house with especially with the white roof. You can see all the houses in the background have that. It's a cooling uh, treatment. Everything is odd about this case. Now we've got the Indians involved. I mean, come on, this is crazy. Now you add Gabby Giffords to the cast of characters in this case. What is going on? And I could see if she wanted him to go out there to grab the notes and the cards and the letters, because there could be some important clues in those notes and cards and letters. But the flowers? Let's just, that's like the neighbor that went and desecrated the cacti across the street and threw the poops out, the poop out there with the cut up cactus plants and the rocks. Like, crazy. Makes no sense. I mean, I know why that person did that, but why would Savannah care if, somebody's delivering her mom a fresh bouquet of flowers? She should be grateful. The mainstream media, they don't care about this case anymore. Exactly, Kathy. Things are going loco, as the Mexicans would say. This is cray cray. Everything about it. Hey, V-Miss. But who got the notes and cards? I don't think it was the family. We don't know, because things started to be thrown away and disappeared. But now new things that have been delivered are being ripped off, supposedly by Mark Kelly. But I can't point the finger at him. I didn't see him drive up and do it. See, Shelley, Jacob called Pima County and told them what he has done and that all transpired and his name and number was on the AirTag. Ridiculous. Why would you not want to bring her home, you know? There's nothing wrong with the yellow roses. Now, if somebody from the HOA or a neighbor or a friend wants to go up and clean up the dead flowers and then pick up the little gifts and the cards to say for the family, that's understandable. But to find out that there's been a theft and that Mark Kelly and Gabby Giffords may be involved, I'm like, what? You're right, Colleen. Pima County could care less, in my opinion. What the what? I know. Kelly, I know you've had your medical things as well. And so you were asking me some questions on one of my video, and I thought, wow, you have a lot of catching up to do. And by the way, just because I showed that video of Alex, I'm not a viewer of his. Uh, I know everybody here that watches him says he has a heart of gold, but I don't respect somebody that throws out homophobic slurs to anybody, whether it's the police or just anybody. I, you know, I'm not impressed by somebody who resists arrest to the police, even though it was a BS kind of deal. I don't think he was breaking any laws, but the order was out there that don't go back or you're going to get arrested again. And he went back and then, he resisted. So just because I put that video up doesn't mean that I'm on his side. Uh, I think both sides did things they shouldn't have done in that arrest. But that video just shows how crazy this whole situation got because he was on the public easement and that was supposed to be an acceptable area until a couple days before that it wasn't. And I know, Kelly, you were busy with, like I said, I'm not going to go into your medical history here, but you were busy with medical things and like 3 YouTubers got arrested. And then days later, one of the same YouTubers went back and got arrested again. But yet, the person that desecrated the cactuses, also known as cacti, plural, the person that threw the poop, who admitted on a live stream that she did, I don't see her facing charges. I saw on a live stream where that woman tried to run over 2 YouTubers, including the Juice, that were on the public easement up on the cul-de-sac. You know, um, that's assault with a deadly weapon. That's a threat or an attempted assault with a deadly weapon. I don't see anybody like that facing charges, but somebody who's just a part of the press that's coming out trying to report on a story and they're being forced to sit behind rocks in poop, but yet now they're going to get arrested for that too. Um, I think it's racism. I think it's, but I think anybody would have gotten it, not just a black man or a Hispanic man. I think anybody that goes out there now, they're 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 going to get arrested. Uh, have you seen anything of Alex's charges? No, I haven't, but I know that he's been charged for uh, what was the term for being in that area? I had it written down in my last video. One was resisting arrest, and the other one was being a public nuisance. I don't think they want to find her, Kathy. After the day after they desecrated the crime scene and they let half of Tucson, half of America walk through that property, it seemed like they wanted to cover up evidence at this point. I can't believe any cop would just be that stupid by accident. He did resist arrest, but the way police approached him was aggressive. Absolutely. It was very aggressive. You could hear it in their footsteps. Like, oh, here they come. Um, they could have handled it differently. Absolutely. Um, yeah, he was taken back. And I think, adrenaline started pumping and tempers flared. I don't think he pushed that cop down. I think that cop fell down when they were both trying to trip Alex. They're trained to do that to get him down on the street, and then his T-shirt ripped. And then when the T-shirt ripped, um, the cop fell. I don't think Brian Enton or anyone from KVOA would be arrested. You're probably right. No, I meant to say wouldn't be arrested. And how do we know that this light went on at 4 AM? I mean, I don't watch Mark the Shark. Does anybody know? Nobody's supposed to be out there. How would somebody know that a light came on at 4 o'clock in the morning? One take adventures. One of the worst things history teaches us from unsolved crimes. You have to lock down the crime scene as soon as they arrive, but they failed miserably. Absolutely, one take. That is so weird. The fact everyone can go there in the very beginning and now no one can go there. Yeah, you gotta wonder if something's getting ready to happen at that house. Hint, hint, hint. And they want everybody cleared. Because I think at first the neighbors actually enjoyed all the attention there because there were more cops coming through, there was more patrol and security and eyes on the neighborhood in case there is some, dangerous lunatic that's out there breaking into houses and kidnapping 84-year-old women. Lauren drove by at 4 and it was on, doesn't know what time it came on. Oh, okay. And who is Lauren? Is she connected to Mark the Shark? Because I don't know who that is. Like I said, there's 115 million YouTube channels and I can't watch them all. But supposedly, I am number 9 on the list and Nancy Grace and Brian Enton were behind me? How is that even possible? I'm not a professional as far as being a YouTuber. Looks like they're trying to keep attention off the property. Yeah, but for what reason? It goes back to where is Annie and Tommaso? Oh, she's an old friend of Nancy's. Okay. Hi again, Panda. Yeah, I don't know what that means, that they just threw us up there at random or they actually had an order because it's some new Facebook page that was created. Like, these are the top YouTube channels to watch if you're following the Nancy Guthrie case. And I was number 9 on the list. And I was like, what? And people like Brian Enton and Nancy Grace and DeJuice, they were behind me. Like, how could that even be? I mean, I know the channel is growing, but you have to realize I've been doing this for 5 years and 5 months and change. And, I've got, well, according to this, let me refresh, 3,365. Yeah, it hasn't even moved a notch the whole time I've been on the air. And I'm not well today. Hasn't even moved a notch. Um, yeah, I don't think a sheriff can just make a law. I don't understand how Nanas can make up a rule that someone can't sit on public property. I don't understand that either. I heard a YouTube live streamer did it to get views. Don't know. They weren't besties, but she met Nancy years ago when Lauren's husband passed. Oh, okay. Thank you, Jay. Kelly, like I said, you're behind the curve. I am injured severely. I wasn't even on the air yesterday. I shouldn't be on the air right now, but I just have to be distracted. Have my cardiology appointment tomorrow and then figure out what's next. And I'm possibly facing surgery number 3 for the year. I'm in excruciating pain. Uh, so I'm not sick, but I'm injured. Rita Close says he's hiding something. The sheriff is. But I understand why you need to catch up, Kelly, because you've been dealing with your own stuff. Yeah, and then I hear this rumor, and I don't know if this is true, and I think it possibly came from DeJuice's one of his lives, but I haven't been able to watch him the last few nights either because his are always in the middle of the night now, and I'm like, I'm so injured, like I just have to go to bed. Um, but something about Sheriff Nanos and a $25,000 bet and a basketball game, like what? I'd like to know more about that because I said the other day, why is a man of his age still working and not on retirement with some cushy law enforcement salary? Why does he need so much money? Extreme hot electric feeling pain. Yeah, I can't move, Kelly. I can sit and I can lay, but as soon as I turn, stand, it's hard for me just to feed the animals and to change the litter boxes, more or less cook. And I don't want another ambulance ride, and I don't want another emergency room, 20 bills coming in to be there for 4 hours so that they can send me on my way and tell me I need to see a primary that I don't have, so that they can then write me an order to go get a scan, and then, I'll have to figure out what surgeon to take it to. I can't even deal with this right now, but the pain may get so bad that I just give up and end up there and just worry about later how I'm gonna pay for it. No, nothing is broken. See, Shelley, the police report said that there was a call that Alex was urinating on live stream, but his video shows otherwise. Yeah, I saw that. But that was legal reason cops showed up and asked him no questions regarding it. Yeah, the first time he was arrested at his house. He wasn't even out there. Is that legal in Arizona? Missouri just legalized betting on games. I have no idea. It's not a good look, though, is it? But, everything is rumored. Everything is speculative, as Nanos would say. But, that just adds fuel to the fire about the gambling rumors. Colleen, there was a scanner I listened to the night Nancy got abducted about an individual with a ski mask and same brand backpack called into police about 8:30, but nothing was done about it. I actually have a video on that, Colleen, a recent video. The second arrest was for being a public nuisance and then resisting police. Yeah, we don't know if that's true. I didn't see the video, and just because somebody else mentioned it in a video doesn't mean it happened. Just like everything that Jennifer Coffendorfer says on X doesn't mean it's credible. See, there's another name that sounds familiar, but I don't know, from Juanita's channel. It's an old metal detecting injury, VMIS, and I think, I hope, because if it's not, I'm in serious trouble because I am a stage 3 breast cancer survivor, and I did go off that 5-year pill in September or October of last year, but it just struck all of a sudden. The call was urinating. JLR had the report. Yeah, I saw the video of him with the P tent and bouncing around like it was a bouncy house, and then he came in and supposedly poured something in the bushes. No, it is no resisting. Well, he was charged for the second crime was public nuisance and resisting arrest. Oh, there was another time? I wouldn't be surprised. Like I said, anybody that would start throwing homophobic slurs, not just at police, but at anybody, is not somebody that I would be personally a fan of. Um, and apparently he's done that before. So I guess he should request a jury trial and make sure he gets the right jury, or it's not going to be looking so good for him. But now the civil cases are going to start coming too from this. I can just see that coming next. The civil cases. And I think the police department should spend their time looking for Nancy Guthrie. But it doesn't seem that they really wanted to look for her after the first 20 hours. Yeah, I'm not impressed. So, if you see that video, I'm not showing the video in support of anybody. I'm just reporting the news. Exactly. That's true, VMS. I don't agree with Alex either, but what is bothersome is that all have had their First Amendment rights violated. Yes, and that's why they need a civil attorney on top of the criminal attorney. Yeah, that's what I've heard, Kathy. She says, can I speak today? Seashell, they got rides to pee. Yes, they did. Even if the grave rumor is a hoax, I do believe Nancy Guthrie is buried. Buried if the border. You mean at the border? Mexico's always been on the table, but I've always felt that she was closer to home. But, I'm not a psychic and I'm not working the case. But welcome in, Hobble One. VMS, yes, because if this gets let go, it's going to set a precedent for other states to do the same thing to streamers. Yeah, it's important. I want to know what's going on out there, especially if, tomato, Tommaso, you know, starts moving his stuff into that house. What's going on? Where the F are they? Why are they not out looking for their mom? Remember when OJ got out and he said, as soon as I get out, I'm going to go out and find the real killers? Was he doing that while he was playing golf and robbing people in hotel rooms in Las Vegas? He wasn't out there trying to find the killers. What does that tell you? I know things about that case that I can't even go into here because I can't get my ass sued. But they're not out looking for their mother. And they were her caregivers. They made SOS calls when they had to pee. I remember that. Still think she's buried in the desert. There would be also almost no way to find her. Desert is endless. Yeah, but you start closest to that house and work your way out. And there's been plenty of professional groups that have volunteered to come in, including the group from Mexico who is now, digging in the dirt south of the border looking for her grave. And they were turned away. Juanita, I might have the spelling wrong, but she has a channel and has scanner calls from the police the night Nancy went missing. Okay, yeah. Seashell. Kathy, I'm just trying to tell facts that a call was made. That was a lie. They will find out who did it before long. Sheriff is anti-ICE and politically biased. They're showing how much they know or even care. Yeah, this shouldn't be about the YouTubers. This should be about finding Nancy Guthrie. And the YouTubers are doing what I'm doing. I should be in a hospital today. Like, for real. I'm so scared of what that doctor's going to say tomorrow when I show him what's going on. And that he's going to be like, you need to go to the emergency room. You need to get out of here right now. And I don't want to go to the emergency room after sitting 4 hours in his office, which I have to get to 15 minutes early. And I have to park in a parking garage where the parking is always full, even the handicap. And then I have to walk a half a mile, through the heat where I can barely walk right now to sit in his office to get there early so they can say, well, the doctor's still at the hospital in surgery. Or there's 18 people ahead of you, but we don't have a bed for you right now, And then he says, oh, you need to go back, hike a half a mile back to your car and drive across the street and then park in their garage and hike another half mile, to go into an emergency room and sit there with sick people that have COVID and this other bug that we can't even talk about because it's too disgusting. That's, slamming the country, the December disease, which is out right now. Like, I don't want to do that. I'd rather just suffer at home and be able to hug my cat and my rabbit, But, I can't ignore this forever. But I'm here. I'm here talking to you guys. Just like those YouTubers, they want to be out there sitting in 105-degree heat. I don't know what it is in Tucson today, but in Phoenix, it's 105. It's only June 15th. The worst is yet to come. Can't your doctor just refer you over to the hospital to admit they don't admit you for anything unless you're having surgery. And then it's the morning of and you only go to the second floor And then 10 minutes after you wake up, they're like, okay, stand up, get ready to get your clothes on and get out of here. And then you can't sleep in a hospital because they come into your room 50 times a night and the alarm bells are going off all night long and the patients are screaming, help me. Because, I'm on the cardiac ward where everybody's 90. Oh, yeah. 17 times at that hospital is enough for me. If this is not fatal, it's going to you're going to have a hard time convincing me to go get it fixed. But I am seeing the doctor tomorrow. And he'll be like, I'm a heart doctor. I can't help you with that. But they'll know what I need to do next. Because it'll be a bigger problem if I do go to the hospital and I miss my cardiac appointment. Because I think this is when they're going to change the meds. So that'll be on my plate, because my heart can start going out of rhythm again. And then they say, oh, well, you'll just have to have another ablation, and hopefully you don't die while you're waiting in line for 3 to 6 months. I'm so done with this, everybody. Hobble, when Nano stands firm with mayor and governor, even with a rash of home invasions in Arizona from alien gangs. See, Shelley, Kathy, no offense taken, just trying to explain that was a bogus call. Yeah, it's all terrible. This is my life we miss. I'm sorry, folks. If I sound negative today, I am just in dire pain as I'm sitting here. Me too, Pauline. She says, I'm surprised Nanos is still in office. Absolutely. Actually, I have some of the best medical facilities in the country. But, it's LA. It's like being in New York City. There's millions of people. There's not enough doctors. Exactly. Exactly, Lemon. You put it perfectly. People misunderstand what the ER is for. If you're not at the risk of near death, they aren't going to do much. Yeah, I've had blood pressure that was over 200, and they're like, we're sending you home, and you just follow up with your doctor in the morning. And then 3 days later, you haven't got a call back yet. But, like, nah, 200 over 120, go home. Callie has valley fever. I never want to have that. I feel done with 6 meds and every day at 59. I hear you, Jay. Good for you. But I mean, bad that you had pneumonia, but they admitted you for 10 days. That's good. Yeah, it changes for me regularly, so I couldn't even tell you how many I'm on right now. In fact, before I went on, I was back at the pharmacy, and that was so hard because they always put the prescription part, like the pharmacy part of the store, in the very, very back so that you have to walk through all the aisles. It's like the grocery store putting, milk and eggs and bread in the back, so you have to walk down all the aisles. It's just, oh. Yeah, it is possible stroke city at that point. So, you survive the cancer, but you die from the treatment. Rose says she's 69. None of her 3 brothers made 70. Oh, well, hopefully when it's all over, there's something else to look forward to. And I'd like to think that Nancy, she's on the other side and she's with her husband, Charles. But as a detective, and I'm not a nurse or a hospice worker, but as a detective, I know of a lot of cases where people are taken out against their will and they're deceased and they don't want to go, if you know what I'm saying. And that could explain some of the weird things that have been going on around that house. Maybe Nancy came home in spirit. Uh, Kathy says, when you get a disability, you're only a number. I have felt that way since I turned 65 in January. Yet we're all just a stat in the system. Hobble says she is 68, or she or he, I'm not sure. Are you a male or a female? AJ, welcome in. Yeah, so basically the new news is that there's no news. There's this, terrible article that's written about Jennifer Hoffendorfer's, latest proclamation on X. There's the one I'm interested in is the bright light at 4 a.m. That could easily be explained. There's a possibility she could have been smuggled over the border at an Indian reservation. But yeah, there's a possibility that space aliens came down and took her away, but I don't think that happened. Jay says if she gets cancer, no treatment. My dad and sister-in-law suffered bad on treatment until they died. That's usually how it works. Then they put you on Social Security and they stop calling it disability. That would actually be a good thing if that happened to me, that my disability would convert into just regular retirement Social Security, because I'm otherwise I would have been too young to collect. And if somebody wanted to call me for a big case, even though I'd have to sub it out, I'd still administrate it and run the show, because I'm the best setup person in the business. But I'd be able to do that, and I'd have more of a chance of financially surviving and keeping a roof over our heads, if I could live long enough for the disability to convert back to regular Social Security. But I can't think about that, because you can't think that far ahead when you're a cancer survivor. I am curious about the lights, Jay. Me too. That's very possible, VMS. That's crossed my mind. Because how are they paying their bills? Do you think maybe Annie and Tommaso are moving in the house and that's why they all want streamers away? If that's true, they're a bunch of scumbags. And I'm not saying they're guilty. Remember, everybody here is innocent until proven guilty. But you know what? I just don't like what I've seen so far when it comes to that side of the family. I don't like the dark music. I don't like the Wiccan rumors and the witch rumors and the asking for money rumors and people in the house apparently not working, and I don't like any of it. There's a lot of red flags. I have never changed my course on this from day one. Money, revenge, Savannah factor, or somebody close to her, which would include immediate family, friends, neighbors, someone from the church, someone who lives close by, someone who made a delivery, a maintenance person, a handyman, someone who does lawn maintenance, pool maintenance, someone who is connected to the casita. But it'll be somebody close if it's not just some random kidnapper that was out to take money from Savannah. And that's still a big possibility, because this woman is the mother of a celebrity, and she herself made many appearances on the Today Show, even just months before her abduction. Did you ever turn over your suspect, you thought, to the FBI? Absolutely. And I'm not 100% sure that he's front porch guy, but if he's not, he's involved. And I wish I could tell you why. And more things have come up since then that has since confirmed another person on my list. This was not an act by a single person. Now, when it's all said and done, maybe they'll just arrest one person, but I'll never believe that that's what happened. That there's one person only behind this. I do not believe the lone wolf theory at all. I don't believe when an FBI agent I consulted with said, well, maybe sometimes people get lucky. Yeah, sometimes they do. Not in this case, not with this property. Whoever did this had intimate knowledge of the outside, the inside, the cameras, the doorbell, alarms, lack thereof, security systems, lack of security systems, lack of panic buttons or medical alert. Someone had intimate inside information about everything that's connected to Nancy in this house. Hobble one says gangs from Mexico robbed her. It's a possibility. She died unexpectedly by mishap and then dumped her body in Mexico near border. Maybe, maybe not. Pauline says she thinks there's more than one. I would bet my life on it. We don't think that she was robbed or burglarized. Does not look like a burglary, does not look like a home invasion, does not look like just a blanket robbery. Not at all. Kathy says she thinks there are 3 to 5. I do believe that there's more than 2, but there's at least 2. Cora, welcome in. I know who I suspect. And I bet it's someone that 80% of the country suspects. But, go see my suspect list video. And it's in no particular order. It's just in the order that the people came into this circus. Had to be someone close. Typically, that's the way it works, Noah. Where are you coming in from, Noah? Three at the house. Yeah, I wish someone could send me the picture. Remember, there was a woman in Tucson who took the front porch guy video. She took a still from that video, and she somehow, maybe through a computer or Photoshop or something, she was able to lighten it, and she was able to get the shape of a vehicle at the end of the driveway. And apparently, she called that tip into the FBI, and they actually came out and they met with her after she had taken that photograph to multiple car dealerships, and they believed that car to be a Dodge. I saw that picture, and I don't have a copy of it in my phone. Everybody I've asked, even some of the bigger YouTubers, are like, no, I don't have a copy of that picture because there's something on that picture where I can identify the wheel and it matches something that I was already looking into. It's a perfect match. But I need to have a copy of that picture. I really need to have a copy of the picture because I have a copy picture in my phone of the car that I think it matches to, but I need that first picture, the one that went to the FBI. Yes, and it showed he was wearing a bracelet. That's all up for debate. Whether it's jewelry, a tat, or it's just a hairy arm. So yeah, if anybody has that picture and they can shoot it to me at aprildavispi at gmail, that highlighted picture where you see a car at the end of that driveway. And you actually see front porch guy turn like that. He turns and he looks towards them. You can see some movement. You got to catch up on the old videos, Kelly. I think you already saw those. Are you like me, Kelly? You've had so many surgeries that it's affecting your memory. Yeah, I've got all kinds of videos on that. It's very close and it showed the links. That could even be a watch. I have a viewer in here that used to refer to one of the suspects as hairball, and I know what she meant by that. Oh, I almost forgot to mention, I don't have the comment in front of me, and I've received so many video comments lately. Somebody came into the show, I think it was the last one, and it was during a time when I was just getting hit by one troll after the next, after the next, after the next. And I think it was a woman, and she wrote Z Z Z Z Z Z Z like she was falling asleep, and I was like, "What is that supposed to mean?" Like, and then everybody in the chat was like on her, you know what, like, now be nice. And I thought, because she came in with all the trolls, like, and I've never seen her before, like, oh, she must be trolling. And I didn't block her. Um, but I time people out because I always give people a second and a third and a fourth chance. I don't know how many more chances some people are going to get because it's just annoying the F out of me. But this lady wrote me a long comment on the video saying, "Oh, I was blocked during your video, and I think everybody misconstrued what I said. I didn't, I can see how everybody misunderstood." She said, "That's not what I meant." And she explained it to me, and then it went click, and I went, "Oh, she was referring to a person when she typed in Z Z Z Z Z Z Z. It wasn't like Z's, you're catching Z's. It was Z Z Z Z Z. And I was like, now I get it. Like, okay, so I said, you weren't blocked. People are just taken out for 24 hours. So, you'll come back. Go ahead, FW. My Cash App is on my links. I have PayPal, Cash App, and Venmo. Or you can just send a super chat right here. Let me know. In fact, I forgot to turn off my notifications. Yeah, so if I get it, I'll get a notification on my phone right now. I don't see it yet. Oh, hey, Family Sosa. What did I miss? April, who do you think is running the Bitcoin ransom? That's a good question. Because at first I didn't know. And now I think I do. Now I can understand why certain organizations, including law enforcement, thought that there might be actually some credibility to these ransom notes. Even if she wasn't kidnapped for ransom, but let's just try to get some ransom out of this. I have a very strong opinion on that based on certain statements that have been made. And that connects to someone who connects to some of the people who I believe are on the scene that night. But remember, I can't legally say names on my YouTube channel. I wish I could say more right now. When this is all comes out, I'll have to see what I'm able to say or not say. Because remember, even if somebody gets arrested, it doesn't mean they're guilty and there'll still be a trial. You know what? My Cash App, that hasn't gone off yet. Who said that? They want to bless me on Cash App. FW 31313. Yeah, I'm not getting a little ding ding on my phone right now. Miss, I think that wrench by proxy story, which I read at the beginning of this video today, is only a theory. Verta, I didn't get anything from a Verta Donnelly. And I do keep ledgers. As somebody here suggested, I do have Excel sheets on every super chat. Now, I can't keep up with the jewels, but every super chat, every super thanks. And by the way, I've only ever received 3 super thanks. I got tons of super chats, which is great. I'm not going to complain, but super things can be given on the rewatches, on the replays, once YouTube has loaded the chat again. It takes about 24 hours on the lives, but even on the long form content or the shorts, I've only ever received 3, and they were all sent to me via Apple, which means that Apple takes the 30% first, and then YouTube takes the 30% of the remainder. So it ends up being less than half of what people sent. But Verta, no, I don't have anything from you, Verta. Hey, you know what? I actually got a box of cash from a lady in the mail, but it was for one of my resale items. And she said, I want to send the money in cash. And I said, you can only send cash at your own risk. And she actually went to the post office. She gave me her address, her phone number, her street corner, a picture of her post office, and a box of cash arrived. And there was a hole in the bottom of the cardboard box. And I was like, oh my God. And she had some sort of a brochure, that was at the bottom of the box, like folded like this. And it prevented the money from falling out. Oh, so yeah, I have the mailing address. Just give me a heads up that it's coming because I don't get to the box every day. Oh, you don't have to do that, Pauline. Ah, could it be coral under the sea? I don't know what that means. Um, I have very strong opinions on that I didn't at first, but now I do as I've been putting everything together. Oh no, Star Brand. Well, you go through stage 3 fucking cancer, asshole, and see if you're still standing. Sorry to the rest of my audience, you had to hear that. Uh, Miss Pittsburgh, hello. uh, yes, Kathy, we have all had our theories, haven't we? Absolutely. What is a wrench proxy? Uh, you might want to ask Jennifer Koppendorfer, but basically it's a wrench attack through this CerTIC, and the K is capitalized. They are a cryptocurrency security firm. They say that it was an attack, a wrench attack by proxy. I'm not an attorney. I'm not a financial advisor. Box of cash. Yeah, I have a video on the box of cash, but it wasn't for YouTube. Yeah, go ahead. You know what? And I said, if anybody wants to do that, I will make a video and I'll put it up as a long form content. And then I'll do a live and say, hey, everybody come watch this video because somebody sent me a box of cash. And I don't care what type of pickup fees I have to pay on that one. Oh, it doesn't even bother me at all, Donna. I've been a detective for 42 years. I've heard it all. Uh, yeah, me either, Remus. I've never been a fan of hers. I don't dislike her. I'm just not a fan. The lady from Guthrie's house, Smith, who was a kidnapper. I've got a video on that. Oh, that's who you're referring to. Okay, yeah, yeah. I thought that sounded familiar. Could it be Coral Under the Sea? I don't know if she's involved in this at all, but I have a video on her. Go back through on the top and you will find me. I don't have any cash apps from you. Not a penny. Oh, and if by the way, I'm just joking, but if somebody did want to send a box of cash, remember you're sending that at your own risk because the one person who did send a box of cash in exchange for an item that I needed to send to her, it was very expensive jewelry. Um, that box showed up with a hole in it. And it was a priority box, I believe, if I remember correctly. I've got a whole video on it, you can go see it, it's quite funny. I got a box of cash in the mail. And today, I didn't even know this was coming today because I was told it was coming through the mail until I saw the receipt, and FedEx never sent me the the tracking through the app, but I got this big box today. Yeah, I don't know why the green screen doesn't allow me to show you stuff, but we already went over that earlier. Yeah, I can only see 4 or 5 comments at a time on the phone, Bert, I'm sorry. It won't let me scroll all the way to the top. Oh, I showed this earlier. I got the monocular from Sue in New York. Can't wait to be able to use this as soon as I'm, you know, physically well enough. Yeah, it was on my wish list, but she accidentally sent it to herself, and then she was out of town for like a week or 10 days and came home and found my gift sitting in, I think it was Buffalo, New York or someplace like that. Ah, I said, just resend it through the wish list and just take this to Amazon or to UPS. And but no, she ended up sending by FedEx Express. But I guess FedEx Express doesn't count like if it's a weekend. Yeah, it's very cool. That was very nice of her and completely unnecessary. Yeah, I'm so happy about this. So if you noticed lately, anybody that's been looking at the wish list, even though I hadn't received it yet, I took that item off the wish list because I would only need like, one of these. Whoever came in here and said they were sending me a cash app, I still got my notifications on. I should actually turn them off now so I don't get interrupted by an alarm and then get kicked off the air. But every few shows I get somebody that comes in and says something like that. They would like to bless me. Go ahead. You got the mailbox, the mailing address. Got even my cancer GoFundMe is still up because I'm still dealing with expenses from the cancer because of the side effects. So yeah, it's Sassy Granny. Woo! You're gonna have to watch this video on the replay. She might know something about this. It came today. Oh my god. Hello, Sassy. The title of what, Kelly? Regarding the cash in the mail? I got a box of cash. I got a box load of cash in the mail or something like that. It's on my YouTube channel. But not everything is in the lives. Remember, the lives are a very small portion of my channel. I have over 600 videos, and most of them are not lives. No, that is not a book. That is a monocular. No, Sassy. I have a cardiology appointment tomorrow, and then I'm going to find out if what specialist or hospital I need to go to next. This pain is like horrific. It's not getting better. First I dealt with the vertigo, then I got the Zevia poisoning, and then I never fully felt better after that. And I woke up Friday after the vertigo had cleared, and I had 2 mystery injuries on my body that I don't know how I got, and one is probably going to need surgery. Rose says, "Gotta go. See you later. Bye, April, Kathy, and chat." Thanks for coming, Rose. You know what, Sassy? I've been suffering for the last 10 years medical wise, but it's really got me down that I may need to go to another surgery. It's like I don't have enough medical stuff on my plate already, and now to throw this into it, like I'm almost in give up mode. Susan K, welcome in. I'm still waiting for the guy. Who was it? Does anybody remember who came in and said they wanted to bless me with $100 through a Cash App? Who was that? They suddenly just disappeared. I'm feeling like it, Sassy, but you know what? I was blessed today by you. So I've got to be well enough to use this. So I can't give up or I won't be able to use my new gift. Who was it? All of a sudden, they ghosted me. Look at that. They were so in a hurry to bless me with $100 and now they ghosted me. Was it FW? Okay, thank you. Thank you. Exactly. I've been waiting for a decade, VMS. I don't even know who you are, Lock 25033. Don't recognize you at all. I don't even have any mods in here, so nobody can actually kick you out. I haven't had mods for a long time. My two main mods, they're busy doing their own stuff. They're hardly ever here, so don't know who you are. You know what? Goodbye. I'm not gonna sit here and try to figure it out. Don't push somebody that's in excruciating pain right now. Well, I guess that's about it. 102 minutes into this 30-minute video. Jennifer Coffindoffer's, got an opinion. That's a breaking news story. But that's the thumbnail for today, folks. Mark the Shark says there are bright lights on at 4 a.m. Like to know more about that. That's interesting to me. That is interesting to me. And Brian Anton spoke to a retired FBI agent who he spoke to many times before because I remember the guy because he's got bad teeth. Mine are still straight. They might look yellow on film, but they're not yellow in person. This says, yeah, there's a nearby Indian reservation and you can get people across the border. Yeah, I don't know who she is or he is. I don't know. Yeah, I am interested in the lights. But see, it creates less problems just me being able to just mod. And if I miss something, you guys don't even worry about it. We gotta keep the train on the track. And if somebody does come in and troll, I would prefer that none of you uh, say hello or even respond to that person. Yeah, it's so unimportant to me that if I do have to take somebody out, unless it's somebody that just chronically comes in day after day after day, I don't even it's just in one ear and out the other. Exactly, Verda. I'm a detective in a big city. I've seen a lot of people go behind bars, and I'm not even a cop. I'm not a police detective, but I put a lot of people behind bars in my career. So, you know what? Rolls right off me. But, I want to keep the chat respectable, for all of you that are participating. It's not fair to the rest of you when, the trolls come in. Who looked too young, AJ? Okay, well, enough is enough. Wish me well tomorrow at the cardiology office. If I don't come on, it's because they'll have a 4-hour wait. And then, you know, we'll have to figure out what doctor or hospital I need to be in from there as far as the rest of me is concerned. So I'll keep you posted. Always check the community post. I put something up there yesterday to say I just wasn't physically well enough. I'm going to try to eat a little something. It's hard to eat when the pain is this bad. So I will talk to you guys whenever. Thank you. Love you all.